Okay.
Now
Oh,
close your PPT. Now close PPT and wait
okay.
official moment.
Wait.
All time listen me, and when time come, I will be told for you when you need to switch
Okay.
PPT. Now just waiting. Yeah, you have some maybe 10 minutes rest. Only watching class, listen our Ukrainian speech. Мгм.
Okay.
Алло, да, ми чекаємо вас на приєднання.
Це по хвилину.
Да. Бо вже всі зібралися, давайте. Ага.
Ой, які молодці, слухайте, члени спеціалізованої ради і сплять спокійно, тут переживають за півгодини, щоб вчасно перевірити, а вони як тютелька в тютельку. Зараз уже йде пряма трансляція. Пряма трансляція, я не знаю, за котру доєднається, може вчасно, що ми почнемо, але, будь ласка, шановні члени спеціалізованої ради, нагадаю вам про етику при захисту на протязі всього захисту. О, пані Олена, вітаємо вас, дуже
Добрий
приємно.
день.
Ага, познайомитись. Нагадую, я сьогодні голова разової ради. Нагадую етику спілкування під час захисту. Перше, у нас зараз іде війна, і я сподіваюся, що кожен із вас знаходиться в безпечному місці, тому що під час вашого доповіді може бути лунати повітряна тривога. Тобто ми не будемо перериватися. Сподіваюсь, кожен собі забезпечив це укриття і безпечне місце. Друге, під час захисту я прошу, ніхто не вимикає камери, не спілкується, як кажуть, в телефоні, і під час захисту буде виключений у вас мікрофон, тільки включаєте, коли будете доповідати. Так? Щось, може, не сказала, але ж я думаю, всі не раз уже приймали участь, тому що всіх бачу, всіх приємно з усіма буде працювати, з вами познайомитись, пані Олена. Тому вже пряма трансляція іде, чекаємо 2 хвилини і ровно об 10 розпочнемо наш захист. Тому, будь ласка, організовуємо робоче місце, пару хвилинок і працюємо. Так, за моїм годинником 10. Будь ласка, запускайте запис. Так, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have official defense of Chinese PhD candidate. I will start in Ukrainian according to the script. Доброго ранку, доброго дня, шановні колеги. Сьогодні 14 липня 2026 року, 10:00. Дозвольте розпочати засідання. Відповідно до рішення вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету номер 836 ОС від 21 травня 2026 року у Сумському національному аграрному університеті утворено спеціалізовану вчену раду для прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації ЛЮЙ Цзіжен на тему «Стратегічні вектори управління корпоративною культурою підприємств» англійською «Strategic Vector of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises» на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії у галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Склад спеціалізованої вченої ради. Голова ради Стенець Наталя Валерівна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту імені професора Івановни Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету. Рецензенти Бричко Аліна Михайлівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент, завідувач кафедри публічного управління та адміністрування Сумського національного аграрного університету. Ткаченко Вікторія Вікторівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Івановни Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету. Офіційні опоненти Безверхий Константин Вікторович, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедру бухгалтерії і консалтингу Київський національний економічний університет імені Василя Гетьмана. Вараскіна Олена Вікторівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені Маркіної, Полтавський державний аграрний університет. Посади членів спеціалізованої вченої ради вказані на дату захисту дисертаційної роботи. Прошу зареєструватися, шановні рецензенти та опоненти. Реєструємося. Так. Бачу. Отже, на підставі реєстраційної картки присутні 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради із 5 затверджених. Наказом ректора номер 836 ОС від 21 травня 2026 року. Кворум необхідний для засідання є, і ми маємо всі офіційні підстави для того, щоб розпочати засідання. Засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради оголошую відкритим. Сьогодні на порядку денному захист дисертації на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії аспіранта кафедри публічного управління та адміністрування ЛЮЙ Цзіжен на тему «Стратегічні вектори управління корпоративною культурою підприємств» англійською «Strategic Vector of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises» за спеціальністю 073 «Менеджмент». Роботу виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті. Науковий керівник, доктор економічних наук, професор Славкова Олена Павлівна. До спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли такі документи. Заява щодо проведення атестації здобувача, копія першої сторінки паспорта громадянина Китайської Народної Республіки, копія диплома магістра, витяг з наказу про зарахування до аспірантури, засвідчений в встановленому порядку, академічна довідка про виконання відповідної освітньо-наукової програми, висновок наукового керівника, доктора економічних наук професора Славкової Олени Павлівни, висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації, дисертація в друкованому та електронних виглядах, відбитки копій наукових публікацій, зарахованих за темою дисертації, засвідченої у встановленому порядку. Усі документи відповідають встановленим вимогам. Дисертація до захисту подається вперше. Хто за запропонований порядок денний? Прошу голосувати. Хто за? Так, бачу. Проти? Утримався? Немає. Пропозиція приймається. І дозвольте зачитати біографічні дані нашого здобувача. ЛЮЙ Цзіжен, 1997 року народження, громадянин Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчив у 2022 році Сумський національний аграрний університет за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, освітня програма адміністративний менеджмент. Аспірантуру закінчив у 2026 році Сумського національного аграрного університету Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Дисертація виконана в Сумському аграрному університеті. ЛЮЙ Цзіжен завершив виконання освітньо-наукової програми 2026 року, як уже доповідалося. 20 квітня 2026 року відбувся публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі публічного управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, де дисертацію було рекомендовано до розгляду та захисту у разовій спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковані у 11 наукових працях. Одна з них – стаття видання, яка включена до наукової міжнародної метричної бази даних Скопу, 2 статті в фахових наукових виданнях України, 7 тез матеріальних наукових конференцій. Наукові публікації відповідають вимогам пункту 8.9 присудження, порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи, також про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12.01.2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії. Зачитаю постанову. Це номер 44 від 12 січня 2022 року. Чи є питання у членів спеціалізованої вченої ради? Нема питань. Із здобувачем погоджено, що захист дисертації буде проводитися англійською мовою. To present the main result of research, the word is given to graduate student Лю Цзіжен. Лю Цзіжен, please share your screen and show us your PPT.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Every professor. Good
One
morning.
moment
My
for
name
full
is
screen. Full screen, please.
For.
For full screen. Share your PPT for full screen. Yes, Hanha. Continue, please.
Can we show it? Because my computer have some question.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Liu Jiren. And the title of this dissertation is Formation of Corporate Culture as a Factor for increasing the competitiveness of the enterprise in the context of globalization and sustainable development. Corporate social responsibility and cultural development have become crucial to companies' core competitiveness. This difference will systematically present my research findings and explore how to enhance company overall competitiveness by constructing an effective corporate culture strategy. This is my content. Under globalization and sustainable development, corporate social responsibility and cultural development have become key factors of enterprise competitiveness. This difference presents the research results and substantiates an innovative CSR strategic management framework integrating corporate governance, ESG performance, and financial analysis to strengthen corporate culture and overall competitive advantage. The aim of the dissertation is to develop theoretical, methodological, and practical foundations for demanding strategic vectors of corporate culture management of enterprise aimed at improving organizational efficiency, strengthening competitiveness, and ensuring sustainable enterprise development. To achieve the stated aim, the following objectives are presented on the slide. The object of the study is the corporate culture of enterprises as a strategic factor of organizational development and management efficiency. The subject of the study is the theoretical, methodological, and practical aspects of determining strategic vectors, matching themes and tools for corporate culture management of enterprise. A comprehensive strategic framework integrating values, matching themes, diagnostics, economic evaluation, and strategic development is introduced for the first time. Improvements include diagnostics, blending organizational, social, psychological, and behavioral indicators to guide strategy effectiveness evaluation, ranking culture, behavior, and performance impact assessment on innovation and adaptability amid digital transformation and model classification by management principles, value orientation, and behavioral traits. Improvements cover conceptual foundations, linking corporate values, consciousness, communication, and strategy, theoretical approaches for digital culture under remote interaction and digital communication and practical mechanisms for integrating culture into strategic management to enhance sustainability and competitiveness. The practical significance of the results lies in scientifically grounded recommendation and methodological tools for improving corporate culture management. Proposed approaches to diagnostics, strategic planning, and effectiveness evaluation can enhance organizational efficiency, motivation, communication, ability, and adaptability under digital transformation and external stability while supporting better managerial decisions and overall resilience. In clarifying the essence of corporate culture, namely shared values and norms of behavior, four main functions have been identified: direction, unification, motivation, and constraints. We have applied science hierarchical model dividing culture into three levels: artifacts, values, and basic assumptions. As shown in the diagram on the right, at the same time, we have prophesized the key role of leaders in shaping culture. To scientifically assess culture, we introduced tools such as the Denison model and the OCAS scalar. In the second chapter, a study of the efficiency of corporate culture at the enterprise will examine the actual impact of corporate culture on corporate financial performance, strategic direction, and specific industries through empirical analysis and case studies. Slide 11 presents global corporate culture trends during 2020 to 2025, highlighting the shift from burnout, technological readiness, and hybrid work friction toward belonging, empathy, and mental health. The findings confirm the need for human centered leadership, psychological well-being, organizational belonging, and adaptive management under digital and social transformation. Quantitative analysis of global technology leaders mathematically confirmed confirmed a high correlation between innovation, culture, investment, and revenue growth using R&D expenditures as a proxy for cultural capital. Establish that innovation-driven culture is a statistically verifiable driver of economic resilience, providing an empirical basis for the ROCI metric. Based on preceding analysis of problems and the adoptive shortcomings and high cultural entropy dilemma revealed by the Dennison model diagnosis combined with the strategic opportunities and threats identified by SWOT analyze cultural strategic transformation urgently needs to move from macro level vision to actionable tactical choice. The successful implementation of this strategic transformation relies on decomposing the abstract goals of cultural development into concrete actionable vectors and using these as a guide to systemically reshape the organization's operational logic. We propose systematic methods for improving corporate culture using a multidimensional organizational and economic model. It combines career development, cultural returns, value-based performance evaluation for fair incentives, behavioral norms, and leadership ruler modeling to implement cultural principle and assess their organizational and economic effectiveness. We investigate the cost of culture improvement initiative. We first clarify how culture reduce long-term operating costs through four matching themes. Next, we construct a three-dimensional cost construct that includes explicit, implicit, and system embedded costs. Our proposed differentiated budget matrix and cultural resistance coefficient can link investment to organizational entropy levels, enabling precise resource allocation. Slide 16 presents the financial and market dimension as a launching indicator that reflects the final manifestation of value created through corporate culture management. It also emphasizes the customer and stakeholder dimension as a mediating mechanism through which internal cultural changes are transformed into external trust, competitiveness, and sustainable organizational performance. Slide 17 presents the learning and growth dimension as a leading indicator that reflects the internal reserves of future organizational value. This dimension emphasizes the role of employee development, accumulation, innovation, uh, capacity, and adaptive competencies in strengthening the long-term effectiveness of corporate culture management. The research defines corporate culture as a multi-dimensional system of values, norms, behaviors, and managerial mechanisms that shape identity, allegiance, employee, and enterprise interest, and strengthens competitiveness. Effective management integrates value-based behavioral and organizational approaches, influencing innovation, adaptability, motivation, and strategic development under external change. A methodological approach to corporate culture diagnostics was developed by integrating organizational, social, psychological, behavioral, and economic indicators to assess cultural entropy, value alignment, and communication effectiveness. Strategic mechanisms were substantiated within the diagnosis improvement evaluation circle, combining leadership, motivation, communication, and digital tools. Effectiveness assessment was improved through ROCI and DuPont analyze confirming the economic value of corporate culture. A differentiated planning and budgeting approach for corporate culture development is proposed considering organizational resistance, transformation, complexity, and cultural resistance coefficient. The digital corporate culture concept is extended by highlighting digital ethics, trust, virtual term work, and digital communications as vital to cultural integrity. Practical values lies in applying the proposed models to improve personal management, strategic systems, internal interaction, and sustainable development. This is my list of publication, all of the 11. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to my supervisor, Professor Alina, as well as reviewers who provided valuable feedback. My presentation is now over. Thank you all.
The report is complete. Please ask question. Alina Mikhailivna.
Good day, everyone. And Цзіжен, I would ask you a couple questions. And first of all, how can the objectively of the applying the proposed cultural resistance coefficient be ensured in the practical management activities?
Okay. The objectivity of applying the proposed cultural resistance coefficient can be ensured through the use of standardized diagnostic procedures, clearly defined evaluation criteria, and a unified set of organizational, behavioral, social, psychological, and economic indicators. In practical management activities, it's important to combine expert assessment with quantitative data, including employer in judgment communication, effectiveness, staff turnover, conflict identify, intensity, and the degree of alignment between corporate values and strategic objectives. As I saw.
Thank you. I'm satisfied. And the second question, which corporate cultural instruments exert the greatest influence on the personal motivation and employee loyalty under the conditions of the digital transformation?
Under conditions of digital transformation, the greatest influence on personal motivation and employer loyalty is exerted by such corporate culture entrustments as transparent internal communication, value-based leadership, digital ethics, explorer, in value involvement and recognition systems. These instrument strengthen trust, support a sense of belonging, reduce uncertainty in remote and hybrid interaction, and align individual motivation with the strategic goals of enterprise. That's all.
Thank you. I'm satisfied.
Victoria Tkachenko, your question, please.
Hello, lead Цзіжен.
Hello.
I have some questions for you too. The first question is, how can international corporate governance practices be adapted to strengthen corporate culture and organizational sustainability in enterprises?
Okay. International corporate governance practices can be adopted by integrating principles of transparency, accountability, stakeholder engagement, ethical leadership, and strategic communication into the internal system of corporate culture management. Such adaptation should take into account the institutional environment, organizational maturity, national cultural characteristics, and enterprise development strategy in order to strengthen organizational sustainability and long-term competitiveness. That's all.
Thanks for your answer. And one more question for you. What ethical and managerial risks may arise from using AI-based tools to monitor corporate culture in remote and hybrid terms?
Okay. The use of AI-based tools for monitoring corporate culture in remote and hybrid terms may create ethical risks related to employer data privacy, excessive surveillance, algorithmic bias, and the possible weakening of organizational trust. From a managerial perspective, such tools may generate risks of overreliance on automatic automated indicators misinterpretation of emotional or behavioral data and insufficient consideration of real organizational context. Therefore, AI-based monitoring should be implemented only under conditions of transparency, informed consent, clear ethical standards, human oversight, and alignment with the value of corporate culture. That's all.
Thank you very much. I am satisfied with your answers.
So continue. Константин Викторович, your question, please.
Thank you, dear Natalia Valerievna. Hello, dear Liu Цзіжен. I have two questions. The first question, how can the Rossi and DuPont-based approach be integrated with ESG management and sustainability reporting practice?
Okay. The ROCI and DuPont-based approach each can be integrated with ESG management by linking cultural investments to measurable social and governance indicators such as employee engagement, ethical conduct, leadership responsibility, internal communication quality, and organizational transparency. In sustainability reporting practices, this approach may serve as an analytical tool for demonstrating how corporate culture influence financial efficiency, stakeholder trust, human capital development, and the long-term sustainable performance of the enterprise. That's all.
Thank you. And second question, what methodological conditions are necessary to adapt the proposed diagnosis improvement evaluation framework to traditional industries?
Okay. Industry-specific indicators need to be developed, incorporating macro, environmental, and regional variable and implemented in a tiered manner with the three levels of verification to ensure the framework is compatible with traditional industries. That's all.
Thank you, dear Liu Цзіжен. I am satisfied.
So, Олена Вікторівна, your question, please.
Thank you. Good day, Mr. Liu. What methodological indicators can be used to verify long-term effectiveness of the proposed corporate culture management model?
Okay, the long-term effectiveness of the proposed corporate culture management model can be verified through methodological indicators such as employer engagement, staff turnover, cultural entropy value, engagement, internal communication, effectiveness, innovation, activity, and organizational adaptability. These indicators should be assessed dynamically and combined with financial and strategic performance measures, including ROCI, productivity, profitability and sustainable enterprise development outcomes. That's all.
Thank you. Second questions. How should leadership practices be transformed to preserve organizational identity under conditions of digital transformation?
Okay. Leadership's practices should be transformed by strengthening value-based communicative and participatory leadership that preserves shared organizational values while adopting management methods to digital interaction. Under conditions of digital transformation, leaders should support trust, transparency, digital ethics, employer engagement, and continuity of corporate identity through consistent communication and personal example. That's all.
Okay, thank you. No questions.
But I have some question, Liu Cizhen.
Okay.
Some question from me. How can the proposed corporate culture management framework be incorporated into the strategic planning system of an enterprises?
Okay. The proposed corporate culture management framework can be incorporated into the strategic planning system by integrating cultural diagnostics, value alignment, managerial interventions, budgeting, and effectiveness evaluation into the general cycle of enterprise strategy development. This will allow corporate culture to be managed not as a separate social component, but as a measurable strategic resource that supports organizational adaptability, competitiveness, and long-term sustainable development. That's all.
I'm satisfied, but one more. What managerial mechanism can ensure a balance between corporate value, standardization, and organization flexibility under condition of transformation?
Okay, adopting a unified core and flexible periphery model unchoied by core values and combined with dual track assessment, cultural auditing, and human matching collaboration guidelines, and we maintain the space for independent innovation of business units while standardizing. That's all.
Thank you. I'm satisfied. No more question.
Okay.
Thank you. Цзіжен, you can take a short break. Now I will proceed to read the statement of scientific novelty in Ukraine. Тому, шановні члени разової ради, дозвольте ознайомити всіх присутніх з висновком про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертаційної роботи. Хочу наголосити, що висновок був вчасно поданий і оприлюднений на сайті відділу аспірантури, тому хто хотів, вже з ним ознайомився. Я зупинюся на основних моментах, що особливо актуальності набуває необхідність визначення дослідження стратегічних векторів управління корпоративної культури в умовах нестабільності зовнішнього середовища та зростання соціально-економічних ризиків, дослідження сучасних моделей, принципів та організаційної ефективності для забезпечення гармонізації інтересів персоналу і культури, орієнтованої на підтримку змін, розвиток комунікацій та підвищення мотивації працівників. Тобто, в зв'язку з цим дослідження стратегічних векторів управління корпоративною культурою підприємств є своєчасним, науково значущим і практично важливим. Робота виконана відповідно науковим програмам, планам і темам. Саме це тема «Сталий розвиток бізнесу в умовах поствоєнного відновлення, євроінтеграція, аналіз, виклики та стратегії». Також концептуалізація інтегрованої моделі управління людським капіталом, орієнтованої на принципи корпоративної соціальної відповідальності, в контексті забезпечення сталого розвитку. Щодо наукової новизни та теоретичного значення роботи, то тут зупинюсь, так як вперше розроблено комплексну стратегічну основу управління корпоративною культурою підприємства, яка інтегрує організаційні цінності, механізми управління, культурну діагностику, економічну оцінку, вектори стратегічного розвитку в єдину систему управління. Також удосконалена в ході роботи методологічні підходи до діагностики корпоративної культури, також наукові підходи до оцінки ефективності управління корпоративної культури на основі взаємозв'язку між культурним фактором, організаційною поведінкою та показниками ефективності підприємства, підходи до оцінки впливу культури на інноваційну активність та організаційну адаптивність в умовах цифрової трансформації, класифікаційні підходи, подальший розвиток у нас здобув концептуальні основи стратегічного управління корпоративною культурою шляхом обґрунтування взаємозв'язку між корпоративними цінностями, організаційною свідомістю, механізмами комунікації та стратегічним розвитком підприємств. Також щодо практичного значення результатів дисертації, то не виникає сумнівів. Також практичні рекомендації щодо формування корпоративних цінностей, стандартів, організаційної поведінки та механізмів комунікації можуть бути застосовані при розробці стратегії розвитку підприємств, систем управління персоналом та процесів управління інновації. Також можуть бути застосовані в навчальному процесі. Основні положення, результати дисертаційного дослідження були оприлюднені автором на конференціях, семінарах, нарадах, як у Полтаві, також в Харкові, в місті Суми. Також хочеться наголосити, щодо головні результати, отримані автором особисто. Також були проведена апробація викладених в дисертаційному дослідженні науково-практичних результатів, звісно, особисто здобувачем, що також був проведений, на що ми звертаємо увагу, основний момент – це текст на наявність текстових запозичень та звіт на плагіат, то рецензенти дійшли висновку, що дисертаційна робота Цзіжен є результатом самостійного дослідження здобувача і не містить елементів плагіату згідно постанови Кабінету міністрів України номер 44 від 12.01.2022 року. Також щодо переліку публікацій за темою дисертації з зазначенням особистого внеску здобувача, то, як уже зазначалось, це стаття опублікована в науково-метричних виданнях Організації економічного співробітництва та розвитку України, які включені до науково-метричної бази даних Скопу, статті в фахових виданнях, і також 8 прийнята участь у міжнародних конференціях. Зупинюсь також на основному моменті та зачитаю, а саме це щодо, на що ми звертаємо увагу, і основний момент – це відповідність дисертації спеціальності та профілю ради. Дисертаційна робота ЛЮЙ Цзіжен на тему стратегічні вектори управління корпоративною культурою підприємств, англійською Strategic Vector of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises, яка подана до захисту у спеціалізовану вчену раду на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії у галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування на спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, за своїм актуальністю, науково-технічним рівнем, основними результатами обґрунтованості, основними положеннями і результатами, опублікованими у фахових виданнях, новизна постановки та практичним значенням відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12 січня 2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та постанові Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 про затвердження порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії зі змінами, внесеними згідно з постановою номер 341 від 21.03.2022 року. І зміст дисертації відповідає паспорту спеціальності. Тому, шановні члени спеціалізованої разової ради, ми переходимо і розпочинаємо обговорення дисертаційної роботи Люй Цзіжен. We begin the discussion of the dissertation work Люй Цзіжен. I invite Alina Bryczko, PhD of Economics, Sumy National Agrarian University. You are welcome.
Thank you for giving me the floor. And I have carefully reviewed the PhD thesis, and overall they're well-structured and they're the relevant piece of research that meets the academic requirements. Instead of reading the entire review, I would like to focus on the main components, remarks, and wishes regarding to the content of the dissertation. During the review of the work, several issues of the debatable nature, comments, and the suggestions arose. The introduction of the cultural resistant coefficients to optimize resources allocation during the transformation processes represent a valuable managerial contribution. However, the mathematical formulation and parameters used to establish this coefficient appear heavily reliant on subjective semantic evaluations and fuzzy comprehensive index modeling. The candidate should justify how to ensure the objectivity and reproducibility of the cultural resistance coefficient when applied by the different groups of the managers or consultants in varied organizational climates. The second, the author attempts to connect corporate cultural expenditures to the explicit financial performance indicators, such as ROI, asset turnover, and net profit measure using a combined ROCI and DuPont financial analysis system, while innovative isolating the incremental financial benefits, such as the calculated increase in per capita output of the 7.2 million, solely or to cultural interventions remain problematic. The thesis doesn't sufficiently account for the external micro and macro factors, such as the concurrent technological upgrades, changes in the market demand, or their competitive pricing adjustment, which could alternatively explain the observed financial growth. Considering the growing importance of strategic management in the ensuring enterprise competitiveness, it would be advisable to further expand the analysis of the synergetic relationship between the corporate culture and managerial consulting support in the process of organizational development and strategic decision making. And greater the attention could be devoted to the development of the practical mechanism for the managing personal behavior through the corporate cultural instruments, particularly regarding the formulation of the employee motivation systems and the strengthening of the organizational loyalty under the conditions of digital transformation. However, the indicated remarks and wishes don't fundamentally affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work and don't reduce its scientific and practical value. The dissertation of Louis Dijen, Strategic Vectors of the Corporate Cultural Management of Enterprises, submitted for the defense to the Specialized Academic Council for the obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of the knowledge 07 management and administration specialty 073 management in terms in the relevant scientific and theoretical level, validity of the obtained results, scientific novelty, practical significance, and the competitiveness of the publication of their research results meets the requirements of the order. The Ministry of the Education and Science of Ukraine number 40 dated January 12, 2017 on the approval of the requirements of the preparation of the dissertation and resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine number 44 dated of January 12, 2022 on the approval of the procedure of the awarding to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and consolidation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council on the higher educational institution or the scientific institution on the awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The content of dissertation corresponds to the passport of specialty management, and therefore Luigi Jane deserves the awards of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on the specialty 073 management. Thank you.
Lucy Jen, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in reviewers' review.
Okay, dear reviewer, Professor Elena, we agree with the official opponent's remarks, but we would like to provide some clarifications. Thank you for this valuable remark, which is fully justified from the perspective of strengthening the practical orientation of the dissertation. This research does address personal behavior management through corporate culture by physicizing motivation, engagement, communication, and organizational elements as key elements of strategic culture management. At the same time, I agree that these matching themes may be feature specific through more detailed managerial tools, including motivation programs, loyalty building practices, digital communication standards, and employer engagement monitoring. This issue will be taken into account in my future scientific research, particularly in the context of corporate culture management under conditions of digital transformation. That's all.
Thank you.
Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, of course, I'm satisfied.
So, continue. I invite in a review to speak Victoria Tkachenko, PhD in Economics, Sumy National Agrarian University, Management Department.
Thank you for giving me the floor. The full text, Louis Duran's dissertation research, can be found on the attestation file of the applicant of university's website. So I would like to go to the main points too. The following scientific provisions can be attributed to the most significant achievements. For the first time, a comprehensive strategic framework for corporate culture management of enterprises has been devoted, integrating organizational values, management mechanisms, cultural diagnostics, economic evaluation, and strategic development vectors into a unified management system. It was improved methodological approaches to diagnostic corporate culture through the integration of organizational, social, psychological, and behavioral indicators for identifying strategic directions of enterprise development. It was improved scientific approaches to evaluating the effectiveness of corporate culture management based on the relationship between cultural factors, organizational behavior, and enterprise performance indicators. Approaches to assessing the influence of corporate culture on innovative activity and organizational adaptability under conditions of digital transformation. The future development was conceptual fundamentals of strategic corporate culture management through sustainability, the interrelationship between corporate values, organizational consequences, communication mechanism, and enterprise strategic development. Theoretical approaches to forming a digital corporate culture environmental under conditions of remote interaction, digital communications, and transformation of organizational behavior, and practical mechanisms for integrating corporate culture into enterprise strategic management systems to strengthen organizational sustainability and competitiveness. So, the scientific significance of the obtained results lies in the further development of management theory in the field of corporate culture management, organizational behavior, personal motivation, and strategic enterprise development under conditions of organizational transformation and increasing environmental uncertainty. The practical significance of the dissertation consists in the possibility of applying the proposed methodological approaches and practical recommendations in enterprise activities to improve organizational efficiency, communication effectiveness, personal motivation, employee engagement, and organizational adaptability. The scientific proposition, conclusions, and recommendations of the dissertations are sufficiently justified, reliable, and follow from the results of the research. The work has a logical structure of conclusions, which are due to the nature of the research. In order to provide reasoned research results, the author used a large-scale information base, scientific publications, norms and regulations, various ratings of public companies, personal observations, as well as information from network. And I would like to go to the remarks and wishes now too. So the positively assessing the research in general, it's worth paying attention to some remarks, of course. In particular, in the dissertation work of the recipient, the first one, certain analytical sections of the dissertation would benefit from a broader corporate analysis of international corporate governance practices and their influence on corporate culture development and organizational sustainability. Great attention could be devoted to the relationship between corporate culture management and corporate social responsibility mechanisms, particularly regarding personal motivation and stakeholder-oriented organizational behavior. The text introduces the concept of a real-time culture dashboard system supported by AI-driven emotional mapping and big data analytics to monitor culture and entropy and coordination. However, from an administrative management perspective, the dissertation fails to address the continuous operational costs, technical infrastructure requirements, and scalability barriers that mid-size or less digitally mature enterprises would face when attempting to maintain such real-time oversee. The concept of the digital culture contract and continuous AI-driven emotional mapping of remote and hybrid workers raises significant ethical and legal concerns. Although the author briefly introduces a digital ethics vector and references algorithm audit guidelines, the work lacks an extensive discussion on employee data privacy rights, potential surveillance backlash, and how continuous monitoring might intentionally erode organizational trust, the very value the culture intend to foster. However, the indicated remarks and wishes don't fundamentally affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work and don't reduce its scientific and practical value. Thank you.
So, Liu Цзіжен, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in Review's review.
Dear reviewer, Professor Takchenko Victoria, we agree with the official opponent's remarks, but we would like to provide some clarifications. Thank you for this important and well-founded remark, which highlights significant managerial limitation in the practical implementation of digital corporate culture monitoring tools. The dissertation considers the real-time culture dashboard primarily as a conceptual and strategic instrument for enhancing cultural diagnostics rather than as a universally applicable solution for all enterprises. I agree that its implementation requires feature specification of operational costs, digital infrastructure, staff competencies, data processing capacity, and scalability conditions, especially for medium-sized and less digitally mature enterprise. This issue will be addressed in future research thought through the development of differentiated implementation models depending on the enterprise's size, technological readiness, and available managerial resources. That's all.
Victoria, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Thank you.
Great, continue. I invite an official opponent to speak. Безверхий Константин Викторович, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor, Department of Accounting and Consulting, Kyiv National Economic University, named after Vadim Hetman. You are welcome.
Thank you, dear Natalia Valerievna. I would like to focus on the relevance and debatable issues of the dissertation research since the full review is publicly available and anyone can read it. The relevance of the dissertation topic is the transformation of modern enterprise management systems under the influence of digitalization, globalization, sustainable development requirements, and increasing socio-economic uncertainty in a contemporary economic conditions, enterprises are focused to operate in an environment characterized by rapid technological renewal, interceived market competitions, institutional instability, and growing stakeholder expectations regarding transparency, ethical behavior, and corporate accountability. Under such circumstances, corporate culture acquires strategic importance as a management instrument capable of ensuring organizational resilience, sustainable development, effective internal coordination, and long-term competitiveness. And despite the overall positive assessments of the dissertation, several remarks and discussion points should be noted. The first, while the dissertation claims that the proposed methodological approach possesses universal characteristics applicable across various industries, the empirical part, the practical case studies are predominantly focused on high-tech sector e-commerce entities such as case company as Alibaba and Taobao University and mechanical engineering enterprises. The other should clarify how the specific culture dynamics of assets, heavy traditional industrial or public sector organizations would affect the generalizability of the proposed diagnosis improvement evaluation framework. Second, in Chapter 2, the candidate employs an algorithm to demonstrate the efficiency of value transmission between employer beliefs and operation execution, while machine learning technique enhance data-driven analysis models are inherently non-linear and function largely as black boxes. The dissertation would benefit from a clear explanation of how specific causal directional pathways were verified, ensuring that the correlation is not merely a statistical artifact driven by confounding variables like market cycle fluctuations or corporate size. So certain analytic approaches proposed in the dissertation would benefit from deeper integration with contemporary ESG management methodologies and sustainability report practice, particularly regarding the measurement of social and governance dimensions of corporate culture. The dissertation pays considerable attention to organizational and behavioral aspects of corporate culture management. However, the issues of external verification and audit of corporate culture effectiveness indicators within enterprise sustainability reporting systems remain insufficiently explored. Greater attention could be devoted to the adaptation of the proposed methodological approaches to the requirements of the European sustainability report standards, especially in the context of integrated corporate values, ethical principles, and organizational behaviors indicators into sustainability disclosure systems. However, the indicate comments and wishes do not fundamentally affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work, are not fundamental, and do not reduce its rather high overall assessment. Dissertation work of Liu Czížen, Strategic Vector of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises, which was submitted for defense to the Specialist Academic Council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration in the specialty 073 management according to its relevant scientific and theoretical level, validity of the obtained academic counsel for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in knowledge 07 management and administration in the specialty 073 management according to relevance, scientific and theoretical level, validity of the obtained results, scientific novelty, practice, scientific and completeness for publication of the results meets the requirements of the Order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, number 40, date January 12, 2017 on approval requirements for the preparation of dissertation and the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine number 44 date January 12, 2022 an approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institute of scientific institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the passport of specialty 073 management, therefore Liu Czížen and deserves the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Specialty 073 Management. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Liu Czížen, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in reviews review.
Okay. Honorable opponent, constituent Bezverky, professor of the management of foreign economic activity and enterprises department. We agree with the official opponent's remarks, but we would like to provide some clarifications. We express our sincere gratitude for this methodologically profound observation addressing the black box limitation of matching learning models and rigorously separating correlation from true causation are critical imperatives in modern management research. In response to your comment, we would like to present the following methodological argument to mitigate the transparency constraints of the algorithm. The study utilized advanced interpretation to the specifically feature importance matrix. This enabled us to rank the input variables objectively and isolate the exact components of employee beliefs that carry the highest mathematical weight in driving execution outcomes to ensure that the correlation coefficient was not a statistical artifact driven by market fluctuation or corporate scalar rigorous data cleaning and cultural protocols were implemented. Stratification, temporal separation. The directional pay width was structurally controlled in the established axioms of the Denison and Barrett models. The machine learning framework was employed strictly to validate and quantify pre-zeroized causal vectors, where we acknowledge that no single model is absolute. Within this dissertation, the approach provided a robust, replicable, and objective foundation for our conclusions. You valuable insights will undoubtedly guide our future research. That's all.
Константин Викторович, are you satisfied with the answer?
I am satisfied.
Okay, continue. I invite an official opponent to speak. Candidate of Economic Science, Associate Professor of Department of Management named Markina, Poltava State Agrarian University, Varaskina, Alena Viktorivna, you are welcome. Switch on microphone, please.
Thank you. Allow me to present the review of the official opponent of the dissertation research. My review was submitted to the Specialized Academic Council within the established timeframe and published on the official website. Therefore, I would like to focus on the key provisions and make conclusions of my review. The relevance of the dissertation topic is determined by the growing role of corporate culture as a strategic factor ensuring enterprises' competitiveness, organizational sustainability, and effective personnel management under conditions of digital transformation and hybrid organizational interaction. The dissertation is relevant due to insufficient research on evaluating corporate culture effectiveness and its integration into enterprise strategic development systems. The dissertation research was carried out in accordance with the scientific directions of Summe National Agrarian University within the framework of the scientific topics related to sustainable development, post-recovery, human capital management, and corporate social responsibility. The dissertation corresponds to the scientific priorities of the higher education institution and specialty 073 management. The scientific novelty of the obtained result lies in the development of theoretical, methodological, and practical approaches to strategic corporate culture management under conditions of organizational transformation and digitalization. For the first time, a comprehensive strategic framework for corporate culture management, integrating organizational values, culture diagnostic, economic evaluation, and strategic development vectors to a unified management system has been developed. Improved. Methodological approaches to diagnosing corporate culture through the integration of organizational, socio-psychological, and behavioral indicators. Approaches to evaluating the effectiveness of corporate culture management based as a relationship between cultural factors and enterprise performance indicators. Approach to assessing organizational adaptability in innovative activity under conditions of digital transformation. The obtained results are scientifically significant for the development of management theory of the field of corporate culture and strategic enterprise development of have practical value through the possibility of applying the proposed methodological approaches to improve organizational effectiveness, personal management, internal communications, employee engagement, and organizational adaptability. The main scientific result and provisions of the dissertation are sufficiently reflected in scientific publications published in professional scientific journals of Ukraine and publications indexed in international scientometric databases, including Scopus. The validity and reliability of the scientific statements, conclusions, and recommendations are ensured by the application of modern methods of system and recommendations analyzing organization diagnostics and strategic management research based on a substantial theoretical and methodological foundation, which confirms the scientific consistency, methodological validity, and practical orientation of the obtained result. The dissertation has a logical, coherent, and well-grounded structure. The work consists of an practitioner, 3 chapters, conclusions, references, and appendices. Despite the overall positive assessment of the dissertation, several remarks and discussion points should be noted. Certain theoretical sections of the dissertation contain extensive descriptive material that could be presented in a more concise form with greater emphasis of the author's analytical interpretation and comparative evaluation. The dissertation would benefit from a broader empirical analysis involving enterprises from different sectors on the economy, which could strengthen the universality on the proposed methodological approaches. Greater attention could be devoted to comparative international practices of corporate culture management under conditions of cross-cultural interaction and global organizational transformation. Some methodological approaches proposed in the dissertation require further empirical verification within long-term organizational development programs. Considering the growing importance of hybrid organizational interaction in modern enterprises, it would be advisable to expand the analysis of mechanisms for managing corporate culture in hybrid and remote teams regarding employee engagement, transformation, and digital communication effectiveness under conditions of distributed organizational structures. Dissertation work of Цзіжен Strategic Vectors of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises, which submitted for defense to the Specialized Academic Council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of Knowledge 07 Management and Administration in the Specialty 073 Management according to relevance. Scientifically, the theoretical level, the main result of validity, the main provisions and result published in professional publications, the novelty of the statement and the practical significance meet the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Culture of Ukraine number 40 of January 12, 2017 on approval requirements for the preparation of a dissertation, and resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine of January 12, number 44 of 2022 on the approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time Specialized Academic Council of the Institution of Higher Education, Scientific Institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with Chinese introduced in accordance with resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 dated 03/21/2022. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the passport of the specialty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Liu Цзіжен, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in reviews.
Honorable opponent, Varaskina Olena, candidate of economic science, associate professor. We agree with the official opponent's remarks, but we would like to provide some clarifications regarding the remark. The author sincerely thanks the official opponent for the constructive remark regarding the necessity of future empirical verification of the proposed methodological approaches. The author fully agrees that long-term empirical testing would strengthen the practical applicability and analytical reliability of the proposed management matching schemes. At the same time, the dissertation was primarily focused on the development of theoretical and methodological foundations for strategic corporate culture management under conditions of organizational transformation and digitalization. The proposed approaches, including the RCI model and integrated cultural diagnostics system, may serve as a methodological basis for future longitudinal organizational studies. The expressed remark is valuable and will be taken into account in the author's future scientific research. That's all.
Thank you. Professor Alena Victorivna Varaksina, are you satisfied with the answer?
Okay, thank you. I am satisfied.
So continue. According to the result of the work of the Specialized Academic Council, we proceed to discussion of the thesis of Liu Цзіжен. I emphasize that all present members of the Academic Council have the right to take part in the discussion. Therefore, I ask those who want to speak out about this work, let's proceed according to the list of the Academic Council. Alina Mikhailovna Brичко.
Yes, thank you very much, dear Natalia Valerievna. Distinguished members of the Specialized Academic Council, their presented dissertation is the relevant, independent, and completed scientific study devoted to the strategic management of the corporate culture in enterprises under the conditions of organizational change, digital transformation, and increasing requirements for business adaptability. The applicant has the demonstrated and appropriate level of theoretical training and the ability to systematically analyze scientific approaches to corporate cultural management, organizational behavior, communicational interaction, and personal development. The structure of the dissertation is logical, consistent, and corresponds to specialty 073 management. I positively assess the scientific novelty and practical significance of the dissertation, particularly the proposed approaches to the diagnosing corporate culture and evaluating its impact on enterprise performance, innovative activity, personal motivation, and organizational sustainability. I believe that the dissertation meets the established requirements for scientific works submitted for the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy. I fully support the applicant and I will vote positively. My assessment is positive. Thank you.
Thank you. Victoria Victorovna, your opinion?
I joined to the positive assessments expressed by my colleague and would like to know that the dissertation research is a relevant, independent, and completed scientific work devoted to the strategic management of corporate culture in enterprises under conditions of digitalization, socioeconomic sustainability, and increasing requirements for organizational sustainability. The applicant has demonstrated an appropriate level of scientific training and the ability to systematically analyze issues of corporate governance, personal motivation, communication interaction, social responsibility, and enterprise adaptability. The practical significance of the work lies in the possibility of applying the proposed approaches to improve management efficiency, employee engagement, and enterprise competitiveness. At the same time, in further research, it would be advisable to examine in greater depth the issues of international corporate governance practices, the cost of digital tools for monitoring corporate culture, as well as the ethical aspects of using AI-based analytics in relation to person. The stated remarks of decision-oriented nature and don't diminish the value of the work. I fully support the applicant and my assessment is positive too. Thank you.
So, thank you. Konstantin Viktorovich, your opinion?
Thank you, dear Natalia Valerievna. Dear Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity to participate in the work of the Specialized Academic Council. The presented dissertation is a complete and independent scientific study devoted to the relevant issue to strategic corporate culture management in enterprises under conditions of digitalization, socioeconomic instability, and increasing requirements for sustainable development. I positively assess the scientific novelty of the work, in particular the formation of a comprehensive corporate culture management system, the combination of organizational, behavioral, and financial indicators, as well as the use of Rossi and DuPont analysis tools. The practical value of the research lies in the possibility of applying the proposed approaches to enhance organizational stability, competitiveness and the effectiveness of personal management. As a discussion-oriented recommendation to work could be strengthened, be a deeper adaptation of the methodology to different industries, ESG management, ESRS reporting, an external audit of corporate culture indicators. The above mentioned remarks do not diminish the value of the dissertation. I support the work. My assessment is positive. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue. Олена Вікторівна, your opinion? Switch on microphone, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I would like to note the high organizational and scientific level of today's defense. The presented dissertation is a relevant, independent, and complete scientific study devoted to the strategic management of corporate culture in enterprises under conditions of digital transformation, organizational change, hybrid interaction, and increasing requirements for competitiveness. I positively assess the scientific novelty of the work, in particular the development of a comprehensive system for corporate culture management, the integration of organizational, behavioral, operational, and financial indicators, as well as the application of ROCA and DuPont analysis tools. Sorry. The practical significance of the research lies in the possibility of applying the proposed approaches to improve personal management, efficiency, internal communications, employee engagement, and organizational sustainability of enterprises. As a recommendation, the work could be strengthened by broader empirical validation and analysis of international practices and a deeper examination of mechanisms for management corporate culture in hybrid teams. My assessment is positive. Thank you.
Thank you. And my opinion, first of all, I want to say thank you to scientific supervisor Alena Slankova to invite me to the behalf of the council, and in the context of globalization and high dynamic of the business environment, corporate culture, thesis, and to be a purely internal social factors and turn into strategic resources for ensuring the competitiveness and sustainable development of enterprises. Modern management requires the adaptation of management system to the condition of digital business transformation. The formation of corporate culture in the era of remote interaction and digital communication require a new approach despite a significant amount of the theoretical development in practice. That is a lack of systematic integration of the strategic management with the values of and cultural diagnostic of the organization. The issue of defining clear vectors of culture management under condition of the high establishment of the external environment and social economic risk in particular acute. As for what was lacking, the author missed the clear systematization and differentiation between the concept of corporate culture management and sustainable development of corporate culture, which is crucial for dissertation in management. The author succeeded in proven approaches to assessment of effectiveness of culture management based on the relationship between factors and enterprise performance in indicators. However, one would like to see a more details calculated on the financial or social economic effects RAI from the implementation of the proposed strategic vector, as corporate culture is often perceived as of particulation and abstract concept. The aforementioned comments and suggestions do not diminish the overall high scientific level and Luigerian work. The dissertation is complete, independent scientific piece of research and hold significant practical value for the specialty 073 management, and the expressed critical remarks are advisory in nature and can serve as a guideline for the author's future scientific endeavors. I vote positive. I support this dissertation work. Does anyone to speak? But I think we forgot our scientific supervisor, Professor Olena Slavkova, what she's thinking about it.
Dear Madam Chair, dear members of the Specialized Academic Council present, I would like to note the Luigerian has fully completed the educational and scientific program and has prepared in an independent and compliant dissertation devoted to the strategic vectors of corporate culture management in enterprises. During his postgraduate studies, the applicant demonstrated responsibility, discipline, scientific persistence, and the ability to solve complex research tasks independently. The dissertation is relevant methodologically, logistical structure, and contains theoretically and practically significant results. As a management system and publication activity, and compliance with the established requirements. I believe that Luigerian deserved to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Specialty 073 Management. It's all.
Thank you, Elena Pavlivna. So now I will start in Ukraine according to the script. Нами попередньо було розроблено проєкт рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради, і дозвольте його зачитати. Спеціалізована вчена рада Сумського національного аграрного університету Міністерства освіти і науки України, місто Суми, прийняла рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування на підставі прилюдного захисту дисертації на тему «Стратегічні вектори управління корпоративною культурою підприємства» англійською «Strategic Vector of Corporate Culture Management of Enterprises» за спеціальністю 073 Management. Лю Цзіжен 1997 року народження, громадянин Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчив у 2022 році Сумський національний аграрний університет за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, освітня програма адміністративний менеджмент, аспірантуру закінчив у 2026 році, дисертацію виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті, науковий керівник Славкова Олена Павлівна, доктор економічних наук, професор завідувач кафедрою публічного управління, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри публічного управління та адміністрування Сумського національного аграрного університету. Основні наукові положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковано в 11 наукових працях. З них одна стаття в періодичному виданні, яка включена до науково-метричних баз даних Scopus, 2 статті у фахових наукових виданнях України та тези матеріалах наукових конференцій. Наукові публікації відповідають пунктам 8-9 порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії філософії та скасування рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12.01.2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії номер 44 від 12 січня 2022 року. Переходимо до процедури відкритого голосування. Прошу членів спеціалізованої вченої ради проголосувати і озвучити рішення щодо присудження Люй Цзіжен ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент. Давайте буду я. Я, Стоянець Наталія Валерівна, голосую за присудження ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальністю 073 менеджмент Люй Цзіжен. Бричко Аліна Михайлівна, будь ласка.
Я, Бричко Аліна Михайлівна, голосую за присудження Люй Цзіжен ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. Ткаченка Вікторія Вікторівна.
Я, Ткаченко Вікторія Вікторівна, голосую за присудження Люї Цзіжен ступеня доктора філософії.
Дякую. Безверхий Константин Вікторович.
Я, Безверхий Костянтин Вікторович, голосую за присудження ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент Люй Цзіжен.
Дякую. Вараксіна Олена Вікторівна, будь ласка.
Я, Вараксіна Олена Вікторівна, голосую за присудження ступеня доктора філософії Люю Цзіженю зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент.
Проти немає, 5 голосів за. На підставі результатів відкритого голосування спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Люй Цзіжен ступінь доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Чи є зауваження щодо рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради? Немає. Тому дозвольте привітати Люй Цзіжен з успішним захистом дисертації. Let me say a word of congratulate Liu Цзіжен on her successful defense. Scientific Council had divided degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialization 073 management. My congratulations. Would you like to say some words? Liu Цзіжен. The floor is given to graduate student Liu Цзіжен. Switch on microphone, please.
Okay, I'm here. Thank you very much, Professor. My sincerest gratitude is offered to my esteemed professor. Thank you so much for your work, which enabled me to successfully complete my studies. I'm also very grateful to the dissertation committee for their meticulous guidance from which I have benefited greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this point, the meeting of the Specialized Scientific Council is considered closed. Thank you all of your work. Тобто на цьому засідання спеціалізованої разової ради вважається закритим. Дякую всім за роботу. Будь ласка, відділ аспірантури, зупиняйте запис. Ну, тоді, раз іде прямий ефір, мені дуже приємно було з вами познайомитися, побачитись і попрацювати. На цьому засідання разової ради завершено. Дякую.
Дякуємо навзаєм.
Дякую, всього найкращого.
До
До
побачення.
побачення.
Дякую всім
побачення.
членам спеціалізованої вченої ради нашої. Дякую, дякую.
Дякую, Олена Павлівна.
Да, дякую.